Hello. Bible Bites today is considering the creation. We're looking at the question, has Judeo-Christianity got creation wrong? The King James Version begins the account of creation, Genesis 1 verse 1, "In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth." The Orthodox view is that the heaven is the universe and the earth is our planet. But what actually was created in the 6 days' work? What is meant by heaven and earth? Before we consider that question, we'll just consider the state of things when creation, before creation began. We get that in verse 2, Genesis 1 verse 2. The earth was barren with no form of life. It was under a roaring ocean, covered with darkness. But the Spirit of God was moving over the water. That's the contemporary English version. Now, God explains what he means by heaven, because in the creation of it, as we read, he defines what he means. So we read verses 7 and 8. This is the Amplified Version. "And God made the expanse of sky and separated the waters which were under the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse. And God called the expanse of sky heaven." That's the Amplified Version. Now, it shows, therefore, that the roaring ocean was one body of water covering the entire earth, and upon that was a darkness, a dense darkness that light could not penetrate. In other words, a very dense mist. So you've got two bodies of water there. And what he did in his creation, he separated these two bodies of water. He caused a very dense mist to ascend. In other words, it seems to have had a collapsed atmosphere, and now he's rectifying the matter. He's causing the vapors, the dense vapors, to ascend to form an atmosphere and what we call our sky. So by heaven, we see God means it in the sense of sky, in which the birds fly, as he says later on in verse 20. "Then God said, and let birds soar above the earth in the open expanse of the sky." That's the American spelling, I think, of expanse. Now, the point is, the King James says firmament, but that's an old word that we don't fully understand if we're not familiar with that. So it's an expanse, basically, he created. He created a space between the dense mist and the roaring ocean covering the planet Earth. And this, in effect, formed an atmosphere and what we now call, and what God calls the sky, basically. But in his language, he's saying heaven, because often the word heaven is referring to the sky in the Bible. Not always, but often is, and certainly in this case, because the birds are flying in it. So it cannot be heaven in the sense of the universe. The birds don't fly in the universe. So it's obvious it's the heaven or sky pertaining to planet Earth, which he reformed in his 6-day work of creation. God explains also his meaning of earth. What does he mean by earth? Well, we find that the word is eretz, which means dry land. And God called the dry land, or eretz, earth. So when he caused the roaring ocean that covered the planet, when he caused it to recede into certain places, so that the dry land appeared, or was formed by God by causing the waters to recede from the land in various areas, so we have no continents. The gathering together of waters he called seas, that's fair enough, and the dry land that it produced he calls earth. So when he said, in the beginning God created the heaven, that's the sky and atmosphere, and the earth, that's the dry land, so that life could exist on the dry land. Plant life and animal life and Adam and Eve, of course. So when the creation began, the planet was dead. No atmosphere or sky, no dry land or earth. From the covering of darkness, which would be dense mist, God caused vapours to rise and give us the beautiful vista of the arching sky, in which he placed the aspect of the sun, moon, and stars. The celestial vista placed in our beautiful sky was part of the 6 days' work. And God made two great lights. Clearly, one was the sun, the other the moon. He caused them to shine, and he caused them to appear in the sky, as it were. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the sun, and the lesser light, the moon, to rule the night. He made the stars also to appear in this aspect that we have in our sky, and God set them in the firmament, the space, the expanse of the heaven or sky, to give light upon the earth. That's verses 16 and 17. So all this aspect came on the fourth day, when expanding vapours had thinned out enough to reveal the spectre of our sky. And beautiful it is. When man was created on the sixth day, this was the glorious vista he would behold, with the setting sun in the evening, and the dawning glory in the morning, and the wonderful starry canopy with its signs in the night. Thank you. Our next talk will be, God willing, on Adam and Eve. Next week's talk. Thank you.